Hey, we're going to do a poinsettia today. It's one of my favorite things to paint around the holidays. We're going to do everything just as we go. And I have no doubt that you can make this happen. So today I'm going to use I've got my 3 magical brushes, my 1-inch flat wash brush with a nice chisel, my 1/2 inch, and my 1/4 inch. What else do we need? Paper towels, paint, palette, all that good stuff. If you have additional colors, you can add those. I'm using fairly basic colors, a black, a white, a red, a Cad Orange Hue, which is awesome. But I mean, whatever colors you have will work beautifully. I'm also using a purple. You could use your blue, but I'll add that because I don't think I added the purple in the description. But if you got a kit from me, it's definitely in your kit. What else? A beverage. I have a beverage, like soda water. All right, let's do it. So, proper care of the brushes. I always forget to tell people, but I do it in my classes. But make sure that the paint doesn't dry on your brushes. So if you're not using it, you don't have to wash it. Just place it back in the water and these things will live for a good long time. Okay, so this is kind of, I taught this, back in 2018 and 2019. I have a 16 by 20 canvas. And let's do it. So I think, which way do I want to do it? I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to take my large wash brush and I'm going to start with a little bit of yellow. And I'll soften it with some white. And all I want to do is give myself a round center. Can you see that? Okay, just a round center. And it's about the size of the palm of my hands. And then I kind of like to give a big swish this way. So kind of just a nice little line that way and a little diagonal. So I kind of know where that's going. Okay, pretty easy so far. So these are for our larger petals, and we're going to start doing the smaller ones. So I use yellow because it's easy. Just kind of make that whoosh. Good. And then, so it's kind of like almost a teardrop. But if you look at it, it's almost the shape of an eye. So just kind of imagine you're a clock. I'm going to do a little of this, and I'll tell you, there's a really easy way to cheat. And I take a picture of a painting and print it out on a computer in black and white draft, and then just use a piece of carbon paper to put it on your canvas, because your canvas doesn't even have to be this big. All right, and then I'm going to go out like this. Just give myself some fun petals. So if this is daunting to you, don't worry too much about it. And then I'm going to come in and add some big petals like this. And then I'll do some green ones probably up here. And maybe I'll do another big petal this way. Okay. So if you're freaked out about this, don't worry. I'll figure out how to help you as we go. So in the center, I'm going to take some black and I'm just making, I might even take a little purple in there too. Ooh, that's fun. I'm just going to go in here like that. Okay. And then I'm going to go, and I'm going to add, I'm just going to take my brush and wipe it off. And I'm going to give a base coat to my poinsettias. So my first one, It's going to be in here like this. And I don't worry if there's black in it. This is just, it's like whoosh. Everything should come from the center there. Okay. And just make sure it's nice and even. And then I'll do a big one here. Right, like that. Just flop those in. Good. And then I'm going to add a big fun one back here. And just keep your lines so you kind of know where they are. If you have the kit from my studio, then you've already got some fun lines going. And I know I hid my lines, but that's okay. We'll make up new ones as we go. You see that? And just so you can see it clearer. Oops. Good afternoon, Roxie Allen. Oh, funny. Okay. So I'm going to come in, do some more beautiful stuff. So these are basically, when you look at the flower, they're like big eyes. If you imagine, you know, the iris and pupil in there, it's an eye shaped. You could even do a teardrop, right, with a round base, but instead of the round base, you just, maybe even an almond shape. That would be perfect. Almond shape is perfect too. Okay, and I'm going to see if it's better. Is it better like that or better like this? I don't know. Somebody let me know, because I really don't know. Okay. Just going to throw this on. And anytime you're painting, I like to get the sides and the top, you know. So we've got a gorgeous gallery wrap. Okay. And then let's just make up some petals over here. So I'll go whoosh that way. Let's go bigger. I mean, it really, this could look like a daisy, but because it's red, it's going to be amazing. And everyone will know what you're doing. Okay, and then some more down here. Doo-doo. Okay. And again. And you can, if you don't want to do this part, you can always, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like odds, so I'm going to do it this way. Something like that. And that will be just fine. Okay, so I'm just going to come in and go whoosh. That way. Do. Okay. There we go. Okay. And then I do need some larger ones, so I'm just going to throw in one right here. And we'll play with this a little more. Hang on, I got to grab a little. Nope, this is pink. Oh, there's my red. All right, and we're just getting some foundation on it. This may be a different red, but that's okay. Something like that. And I will try to get a PDF of maybe the drawing or something on there. That would be super cool. Okay, I'm calling that pretty okay. Now I'm going to just wipe off my brush. And in the middle, what I want to do is add some of that fun purple. So right in here, maybe even a little blue. I want to add that right in this middle. Yeah, purple. Let's go purple. That's the way to do it, I think. That's the way to do it. And then we'll play with this a little bit later, but this is just going to give it some fun. I'm going to throw a bunch of purple right in here on top of that black. And then a little more purple. I've got purple. And change the canvas however you want it. And it all comes together. Just takes a while. Okay. Good. All right. So that's good. So what I want to do is add some big leaves. Let's go. How do we want those? Like maybe, yeah, I'm going to go up here with a big, beautiful poinsettia leaf, and then one here-ish. Okay, which means this part and a little snippet right there will be blue. So again, you can wash your brush if you want, but I'm not going to. Maybe I should, but I'm not going to. Okay, I am grabbing some blue, and I've got a little phthalo blue in here, and I'm going to outline, and I'm not too worried about getting it super close, but I'm going to outline. And if I overlap, don't worry about it. It's going to be amazing. And if it's not amazing, we'll just keep painting until we like it a whole lot. And I want all of the color to sort of fan out this way. So I've got my base blue. I'm pulling a nice chunk of white, and I'm going to start working this out. Working that out. And feel free to play if you want to. Get the sides. And take your time. At this point, I'm going to wipe off my brush, grab some more white, and just make it softer and brighter. I'm getting the sides. And I'm getting some of the red in there. I'm not worried about it. If you want a crisp blue, go ahead. But I just want some base coats, and we'll play a little bit with that. And I think that's kind of fun. Let's see. Without the light, can you see it better? Yeah. Maybe we'll do that. I never know if it is the same. I'm going to pull this up and see how well you can see it on the screen. So that's good. And then I want to do some bright stuff over here. Right up in this upper left-hand corner. Does that make sense? Get the sides. And just bring it in. Bring it on in. Okay. What do you think? All right. So we've got that. And then I'm going to grab some green for here, here, and here. And you have a couple options. You can add dark green and you can go lighter, or you can add light and go darker. And that's the option that I'm going to choose. So in this case, I'm grabbing green light permanent. And I'm going to throw that right down the middle. So in this case, I do want it to be bright and beautiful. I didn't wash off my brush, but you can if you want to. But for me, it's no big deal. And I just want all the streaks on this one, because it is fairly translucent, to pull in. Okay, and then I'm going to do one over here, because that seems good. And maybe I'll pull it like this, like that. And sometimes just stand back and look at it and go, okay, that makes sense. And this one I'm going to do in here more, and I'm going to pull that up. Okay. Something like that. And I want to make sure everything's coming from the center. So I'll push these out like this. Okay, good. And then why not? I think I'm going to go get this corner too. I can always change my mind later, but I might as well just get all the nooks and crannies full and figure it out afterwards. Okay. All right. So that's pretty fabulous. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is start adding some definition. And I'm going to show you two ways of doing it. So I'm going to gently come in. I'm going to wash my brush. I know that's weird, but I'm going to wash it. And then I'm going to start emphasizing the color on the edges. So here-ish. Ooh, it's still wet. That's okay. Let's see if you can get that. So I want to start playing with this and defining it. So the way I can do that, I've got to grab a nice hunk of red. And mine is nice and dry. If yours isn't dry, wait until it is. So I'm going to come in, and do I want to add? Okay, I'm going to add purple around my edges. So I'm going to add a second coat to everything and then add purple around the edges. So I'm coming in with red. It's a nice, beautiful, beautiful coat. And I'm just going to overtake that gap. Red is fairly translucent, so you really should go over it twice. I'm using a nice amount of paint. Don't get cheap on me, okay? You can use cheap paint, but you can't be stingy with it. Good. And keep it flowing in the direction, everything towards the center. I hope that makes sense. And then this guy, get it nice and full. Good. And then these guys out here, and make sure any white that isn't covered is now covered. Okay, it's fine if you get the green in there. Don't worry about it. You're okay. So this, just getting that in there. Get a nice bunch in there. There's a lot of paint being used on this guy. And I'm going to turn this over so that I can get the top here. And I just want to cover this with a nice, beautiful layer. Don't make it clumpy, but make sure that it is nice and solid and even. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And don't worry, it's not supposed to look good yet. We're just laying the foundation. And if you see any white, just get it. It doesn't even matter if it's the right color, just get it. Okay, now you have two options. You can go with black and red, and it'll make kind of a Cabernet. Or you can go with the dark purple and red, and you could probably even do the blue, but I prefer purple or the black. So I'm going to go with purple in this case. And I'm going to come around, and that is a lot of purple. So if it's too much, wipe it off. Grab your red and soften that. Soften that crazy color. But you do need it. And just be a little whimsical with this. Don't worry about it being too tight. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just going to go whoosh. Sound effects help. Good. And then this hard edge, put half of your brush on and half of your brush off. Let's see if I can get this to show up any better. Half on, half off. Okay. And then half on, half off, and soften that. I hope that makes sense. Good. Good, good, good. Okay, now let's do this guy. So I'm grabbing purple along with some red, so you can see the purple and the red. And on this one, it's coming behind, so I want to tilt it just a little bit. And then in here. And just come in, move it on. And this is fine. If it's not perfect, don't worry about it. It does not have to be. Just moving that color in. Okay? Good. And now I want to do the same thing. Just keep it going. Pull that in, come out, and just soften. And then keep it going. You guessed it. You know what we're doing. Keep it going. If you get something crazy like that, I would totally leave it. I would totally leave it. Just leave it. Because it's not about the perfection. It's actually just about color and being fairly loose. And I'm going to move this over so I can get to this one easier. And then pop in your stuff here. And good. Okay, and I want it a little darker on these edges, a little more dramatic, and that's fine. Okay. And I'm going to turn that off again. Okay. So, make sure that edges are good and dark in there. Don't worry if they overlap. You just need that variation of color. So in there, cover up any of those hard lines. We don't want any harsh lines if we can help it. Not right now, at least. Okay, good. So let that dry. And then what we're going to do is work on leaves. So wash your brush, wash it up. And if it's not perfect, like mine is still a touch pink, it's fine. So you have choices. You can use, I started with the Permenent, but you could use deep green to do the edges, or you can come in with, and that's kind of a phthalo deep green or phthalo green, something like that. Or you can use your phthalo blue and this color, which is dynamite. So this is permanent light green or any light green. Be a little careful. Play with it. If the color doesn't mix to something that makes you ooh and ah, then get rid of it. Do something different. Okay, I'm pulling in dark edges. Dark edges. Oh, that's good. And then dark edges in here. And I'm going to pull this down kind of in the, like that. And maybe a little deep green in there. Gently, gently, just little bits. See how it goes. Good. So pretty. And then I'm going to do a little here too. And soften if it's too harsh. Good. Something like that. And over here, same thing. Move this over. I want that to be a nice dark line. I'm going phthalo and green. So I'm going to start here and just move this in. And I don't worry if I go over those lines. That is okay. And that's kind of fun. And then in here. In here. Okay. All right. That looks really good. And mine's a little too dark on the edges. I'm just going to pull a little bit of it out. Okay. Now, so look at your background. If you're happy with your background, leave it. If not, wash your brush. And I think I really do like my background. So I don't know, let's see. I might add a little brightness, but I don't know that I want to do too much. So I'm just taking white and just gently smushing that around and see if you like it. If not, if it's already perfect, don't do anything. No reason. But I think that's a little more fun. I'm just going to brighten that up a little bit. Okay. Kind of a dry brush thing. Just to get a brighter blue. Oh yeah, I do kind of like that. Okay. And maybe even tap in a little more phthalo down here. And if you like it, don't mess with it. You know, that's going to be. Okay. All right. So this is still wet for me. That's okay. So what I want to do is add a brightness. The middle of these is still dry. So I'm going to add a brightness. And the way I'm going to do that is yellow and white. And then just pull in. And this should be fairly easy to just add in the center. And you could even just pull it up if you want. Something like that. And then could even kind of do a more jaggy thing if you want. Woo! It's kind of fun. And I want a little brightness over here and over here. So I'm going to pull that in. Hope that makes sense. And then I want to pull in some over here. So again, now my brush, I'm just getting yellow and white, and you can see what that looks like. And pulling a little on the edges, and then you could pull it straight in if you wanted. And just see what happens. Pull it straight in. Like that. And see if you're happy with that. I think I am. I like it. Maybe a tiny touch down there. A little contrast. It's kind of fun. Okay. Yeah. It's a coming together. Now, in these little areas here, it's really important that whatever color you've got is just gorgeous to make that nice and beautiful. So it can be purple, it can be blue. Just make sure it's nice and deep and fabulous. And you could even add some of that depth right down the middle. Now, when you're doing this, don't be skittish. Like, go for it. Kind of go like this. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Okay? Because if you're doing this, trying to get it in there, it's not going to be as free and as fun. So literally find kind of the middle and go whoosh. And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to call that pretty fun. Okay, now I say, oh, we're still not quite bright enough there. So go ahead and let this dry, because what we want to do is start adding some orange, and we could try to do it now, but there is a chance, and you have to decide too, there is a chance that it might not be as bright as you want. So you can add a little orange now, or wait. Let's see if I can get this open. Okay, so I've got orange, and I'm just adding a bit in here. And don't touch it too much, because the more you touch it, the harder it'll be to add. Okay, so I'm going whoosh, maybe a couple, and just get off there. Okay, and if you got some black in there, so what? It looks great. It's going to be just fine. And then a little more. This is a loose painting. You can keep it nice and tight if you want, but I'm going loosey-goosey, mama. Okay? Loose. I think that's really fun. Whoosh. Tap some in there. Little in there. And in here. And then how about in here? You can do this. There we go. Huh? Just a little fun. Just a little fun in here. Yes, we're getting that luminosity. Okay, and in here, see how we're doing. Awesome. So I'm going to keep going in here, right in there. Maybe I do a little. Who knows? Maybe a little in there. A little spot. and maybe a little touch there. And that allows you to, you know, pop in a little more red if you want to. I mean, who knows? And now we've got that kind of fun stuff going. I think it's time to start adding some white. So I do want to define a couple of these. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe I want to define one or two of them. I don't know. Let's try it. Just define that. Ooh, that's dramatic. Let's do that. So dirty brush with a little bit of blue or purple. I mean, that's kind of fun. And giving it a little, and with this one, I'm going to go a little pizzazz there. So I'm not going to follow my own lines because that's just, it's a little boring. So I'm going to come down and whoosh. Look at that. It's just fun. Okay. And what if I do a little, let's pop in a little there. And I like this one too. I think I am going to give this a deeper, and the reason I want to give that a deeper moment over there is so that I can come in and fix this edge, because I'm not in love with my edge. So play with that a little bit. That's fine. There we go. And I'll kind of go a little shallower on that. Okay, let's see how that is. All right. And still, I'm not in love with this edge, but that's okay. I'm going to go whoosh. We'll just kind of call that a really decadent little edge. Okay, there's always a piece you're not in love with, and that's okay. And maybe I'll do a little edge of a, I just put a little leaf over there. All right. So I've got that happening. Now, let's wash that brush off. And what I want to start doing is all of this outlining, and it's super loose and fun. Okay. And you'll see if you can see this, that the edges of the dark do not line up with the white. It's loose. It's meant to just kind of be fun and really free. Okay. So we're not going to worry about it too much. I'm going to let you choose. You can do the 1/4 inch wash brush, but you can also do, if you have a round or something, you can do that. But I'm going to come in and just swoop in little circles down here. Okay. So I'm going to grab my white, grabbing some white, and I'm going to come in and just swoop. And it's a little wet. I'm fine with that. Okay. And just whoosh, go loose. Go loose. Don't worry about it. Go loose. If your paint, and I'll show you, if your paint is too thick, it will be difficult. If you've got paint at home that's more of an artist quality or a higher viscosity, and you probably can't see that, and it's lumpy like that, dip water into it and just pull it out. You see that? Pulling that out. And I'm not worried. This does not have to be perfectly white. So I'm just going to come in. Don't try to correct these things, because if you do, you may go mad. You may go crazy Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs. Okay. Now I'm coming back with my large brush, and it's mostly clean, and I'm going to chisel it. Let me see if I can get you to actually see that. So where I am pulling this out and I'm chiseling. Let me make sure you can see that. So I want to pull it out. Don't stir the pot, just pull it out. And I have a crazy hair on this guy. So, okay. Now what I want to do is start where it's dry. I just put a little fingerprint in here. And I'm going to start at the edge because I want a nice point. And if I can get a nice point on the edge, then it kind of doesn't matter where it lands, okay? So let's start on the very edge. And again, you're pulling out like this. Here, I'll do it. I'll pretend to do it in the blue. You're pulling out. So coming in, whoosh, and then reload every single time. Reload. You can start even higher if you want and just pull it in. Just pull it in. Have some fun. Reload. Start with this guy. Pull it on in. It's so fun. Okay. And then I'm going to go whoosh. And then I'm going to do this too. And I'm going to go whoosh. And then these dark lines are still wet, so I'm going to stay far away from them. And you can add a little something in there. Okay, and now I'm coming back to the white. And I'm going to do, and you could even make this jaggy if you wanted to. That's kind of fun. And maybe a little whoosh in there. Maybe I might do that one a little different. Good. Okay. And then one whoosh, right down the center. And then here, I'm going to go in here and like that. And I'm just going to go for it. I got a little extra color in there and I think it's gorgeous. I love it. So let's see if I can get this to pop up. Okay. And I'm pulling, pulling, pulling. And again, it does not have to match your lines. It's got to be somewhat close, but it doesn't have to match. Just tap in a little there. And you need more. More, I tell you. Just tap it in if it's around the corner. Or just give it a shot. See what happens. Okay. And then still feel like that one. Yeah. And then let's go here. And why not? You can do another. No rule says you got. And then pull it out. Let's do that. That's fun. Good. See if that's good. And maybe we throw another here and here. Something to that effect. Okay. And then I am going to add more to that one. And should we do... Okay. Good. And then maybe we'll do, just for pizzazz, a little something like that. And let's go right on in. It's nice and bright. Okay. So what I want to do now is grab the back of my brush, the back, dab the back, okay? Dab the back. And I want you to start doing some fun things in here. They can be white, they can be yellow. Just draw them in. Okay. Back of the brush, pull it in. Pull it in. Back of the brush, pull it in. Back of the brush, pull it in. Back of the brush, pull it in. Oops. And I'm just gonna, oops. Everything is wet. Okay. Try not to let it drip. But if it does drip, it's just how it goes. Okay. And now I'm actually going to wash the top so it doesn't dry like that, because that would be awful. And I'm going to do white. That was this and not me. Okay. A little beverage. Back. Bright. 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 And it's nice to have those two tones. Or I should say, you've got your white. And maybe a couple more as we go out here. Okay. And then, do we need something up on the top? What do you guys think? Feel like, let's see. Feel like we might need a little something up here. So I'm going to try to splatter. So when I splatter, I take my brush and I add water. Let's see if I can do this a little differently. I add water to I add water so that it's kind of creamy, okay? So if you're going to splatter this way, what you want to do is make sure that you have something like a cross between whole milk and cream, and you have to sort of decide what works for you. You can also use a toothbrush, but I think that's fun. Ah, I'm getting it all over. That's okay. So if I move this closer, you can kind of see what that does. And now that your white has had a moment to sit, see if you can sharpen it up. Not everywhere, but in a few places, just brighten it up. And I'll show you a little trick right here. For me, that line gets lost and I don't want it to. So I'm going to take a clean brush with a little red. Woo, that's out of focus. And I'm going to pull that right like that. That just feels better. Okay. And then throw that in there. I'm going to redo that. Good. And then do something down here that's fabulous. And then bright. Right. Okay. And if you want, you could even put a pretty subtle star see if I can pull that closer. And you just kind of push it out. I do it in white first, and then you can add color to it. Like maybe I'll add a little of that. Maybe I'll add a little of that. And see how it looks. If you hate it, then we get rid of it. No biggie. And yeah, I think I like it better bright. With maybe a little yellow. Just play around with it. See what works. And if you don't like it, then just get rid of it. Ooh, actually, I like that better. There's some fun other colors in there. Oh, yeah. I like that better. Okay. All right. And I say you could even add a little bit of light blue. Let's see if we can do that. Just throwing a little light blue. Just in a few little areas. Good. I think that's kind of fun. So there's our finished poinsettia. Okay. Good, good, good. And you can see, like, you can take this crazy thing as far as you want. Oh, I got my pants. That's fine. But you can take this far as you want. I'm going to pull this up just a little bit so you can see the whole thing. Good. All right. Good. Yeah. Play with this all you want and then show me what you've got. And don't forget to sign it. Thank you. Have fun. Show me pictures. Send me pictures. Put them online. I think you can put them underneath. And happy evening. Bye.